Whoa, what's this? Another episode of Smash Selects? Yes guys, you read the title correctly, even though Smash Selects is not in the title, but I'm bringing it back for DLC characters that we have enough time to speculate about. Byleth is the first character in this DLC pack that we have gotten an in-depth look at, and that didn't only just get teased or get shadow dropped or shown off in presentation and then dropped on the eShop later the same day. So before we start today's video, I want to talk about what I think about the reveal of Byleth. Personally, I played through Fire Emblem 3 Houses and I adore that game, and it's probably my game of the year next to Jedi Fallen Order. I enjoyed the gameplay, the story, and the characters especially. Byleth to me was a really cool character, and he fits a similar role that Joker does from Persona 5, and I think the game has a lot of Persona elements that it actually does better than Persona 5. So I am personally hyped to see Byleth, and to me he's not just another Fire Emblem character, and I feel like people should give it another chance and maybe play the game to understand why people like me are excited, and maybe so you can gain some excitement for yourself. So usually I go over a character's past history in Smash, but well, he was never in Smash unless you count, those other 7 versions of him. But jokes aside, obviously he's new, so there isn't really anything to talk about here, and heads up, I'll be referring as Byleth as a he because in my playthrough of 3 Houses I played as a male Byleth, so that's just what I'm used to. So Sakurai in this Smash Direct gave us a decent amount of information about Byleth. Starting off, we know he isn't a very fast character, and he says he isn't much faster than Robin, so I'd assume somewhere in between Robin, who is the second slowest in the game with 1.265 run speed, and then Ike, who is the 12th slowest with 1.815 units of run speed. And so far that seems like a bad sign, because one thing a lot of characters with low speed have in common is they're usually considered low tier, but initial dash speeds play a big role in Ultimate because a lot of sudden movements from stopping is an initial dash, and foxtrotting is a big movement option in Ultimate, and if the character's initial dash is somewhat decent, it won't be that much of a detriment to his playstyle in my own opinion. And I think Byleth has a lot of range, and I first want to say I counted the frames for a lot of the moves. And it isn't perfect by any means, but it'll give you an idea. Also, it's worth mentioning that some of this could be different for the final release. So starting with Byleth's jab, it seems really decent with the first hit of jab coming out on frame 4, and the second hit on frame 10 leading into the multi-hit flurry rush on frame 23, making it a decent option to use at close range to get in a good amount of damage similar to characters like Fox. And personally, I think multi-hit jabs are really good when you just want to build up damage or get yourself out of a situation in Ultimate. And I think Byleth has a ton of range, but not surprisingly at all. Next up is the up tilt. The up tilt is decently fast, and it seems like the hitbox would be active around frame 10, and the move in total looks like it takes about 34 frames for the animation to complete, which isn't too bad, and it reminds me of Hero's up tilt but with less end lag. This move in the direct wasn't really used all that much, maybe once or twice, so it's hard to say if you can do much off of the up tilt for combo potential. But now when it comes to the down tilt, this move certainly has combo potential, which Sakurai shows off himself, leading it into the amazing up B, which I will discuss how it actually works later in the video. It also seems like you can get a drag down Nair into this down tilt. The down tilt is active on frame 13, which isn't the fastest in the world, but it's faster than a decent amount of down tilts in the game, and it has the advantage of range. It's pretty similar to Shulk's, and later in the video you'll see a lot of things that may remind you of Shulk. The next thing I want to bring up is the forward tilt. It's actually fast at being active around frame 8 and can be a considerable punish option because of its speed and medium range. It's pretty much similar to Marth's forward tilt, but the angle is different, with it starting from an overhead position, possibly working against short hops for trying to get in and hit Byleth. This has pretty decent range and isn't a bad option in terms of speed. In fact, it's one of his fastest options. Next up we have the dash attack, which seems like a fine dash attack, having an hitbox active around frame 8 or 9, which is just a quick sword swipe and your typical dash attack. Nothing really much to say about it here. Could be a good punish option though in certain scenarios because how most dash attacks on sword fighters are used. Now those were the normals, so that means it's time to talk about those interesting smash attacks. So Byleth's smash attacks will be the most hit or miss moves in my opinion. It seems like at close range, you won't be able to just hit it like it's Mario's forward smash or even Ganon's forward smash. It seems strictly a zoning tool because it is strong when the actual blade part of the spear hits, and it's stronger when you tilt it in a certain direction. So if you zone with it properly and you tilt it and hit Tipper with it, it's going to do a lot of damage and knockback, which is a really interesting way in my opinion to model smash attacks. We've seen Tipper, but his mechanic is brand new and I could see it being either really good or really just meh. But the biggest downside is how kind of slow it is. It becomes active on frame 25 and has a ton of end lag. So it's high risk, high reward move. Moving on to his up smash, this move may be one of his best moves simply because of its range. The move picks up your opponent off the ground even if they're laying on the ground, so you could theoretically put your opponent in a jab block situation and then use your up smash at low percent to continue a chain off of it. That up smash comes out decently quick at frame 13, but the move lasts a long time and ends on frame 86. It takes a little over a second to complete the entire up smash, so it's not really safe to miss in a situation, especially if you're not near your opponent. Now remember, when some of the frame data reminds me of Shulk, well, the down smash is almost identical to Shulk's frame data, and the move seems to act very similar. The down smash is quite slow but does a ton of knockback as we see it hit Bowser. It becomes active on frame 21 and spins around just like Shulk's, and the move ends around frame 80 compared to Shulk's 82 frames. So the moves are quite similar, with the major difference being that Byleth's only hits twice and most of the frames come from the animation of him stopping instead of continuous spinning. And those are all the smash attacks. These are all honestly the most iffy part of the moveset in my opinion, and these moves prioritize range over speed, which isn't a bad thing. That makes Byleth a distant demon as mentioned by Sakurai. Now moving on to the aerials, we're getting a little closer to the things I think are broken on this character. So starting with Byleth's up air, where he spins around the Sword of the Creator in its whip form, reminds me of Ike's old up air with the way he spins it in Smash 4. This move is active for quite a while, leaving a first active frame of 40 and landing lag at 17 frames. And it seems like it auto cancels, but it's active pretty quickly starting on frame 9 or 10. This seems like a pretty good up air and a good anti-air because of how long the move stays active and how long it is. It also seems like it can auto cancel like I mentioned, and that is a big plus for the move and will make it safe to do out of jump squats. So forward air and back air are very similar and both are active on frame 12 or 13 and act in almost the same exact way. They have the forward lunge strike, which is similar to the smash attack, and as said in the direct, it will beat out moves such as Marth's forward air. This seems like a good forward air and can be used for good shield pressure in poking opponents because of its long reach. It reminds me of Shulk with his back air, except Byleth has it for forward and back air, and the major difference is it's a much faster move and it's more of a forward swing and backward swing for Bear. Next up is the down air. It seems like he has insane shield pressure as we see it break a shield when the shield is about half full. This move seems slow, similar to a lot of meteor smashes, but this gives Byleth some edge for edge guarding and reading capabilities with this. Its hitbox seems to be active at frame 22. Now moving on to the Nair, I'm underwhelmed by this move. To me it seems like a slightly worse pit Nair. It also seems to have the not big enough hitbox to match the animation problem, but you can get combos off of it with drag down and lead down to down tilt and say do an up B with it. It has the potential, but so far it just looks really small and more of a get off me move. On the upside, it comes out at a super fast rate, coming out on frame 6. Now here comes the big ones, the specials. Let's talk about that up B, my favorite part of this character. It seems to just act like Joker's with his tethering capabilities, but when you stand next to your opponent, you can hit them with this move. After analyzing the footage, it doesn't actually grab you instantly. It hits you upwards and the sword extends faster than you get hit up. And by the time you reach max height, the tip of the sword grabs you, and then it allows Byleth to tether to you and then jump off of you. This move also does something crazy, which is spike you at a high percent. And shown in the direct, Kirby gets spiked around 80% in terms of his percent. So this move comes up and hits your opponent when you stand next to them, and at frame 11, that's when it's active. And then at frame 27, that's when the grab is active for the sword. This move seems amazing, and trying to edgeguard Byleth seems kinda scary depending on the character you are. Now side B almost acts like a smash attack in an aerial, with it having 3 different states: the normal ground version, the extended ground version, which you extend with a smash attack input, and the aerial version, which is a big hitbox but leaves you with a lot of lag. So this seems like a go-to move on the ground when trying to ledge trap, especially on stages with platforms like Battlefield and Kalos. It's active on frame 21, so it's faster than a forward smash. So this seems like a really good move. Then we have the down B, which is a Warlock punch pretty much with a lot of super armor. This move in my opinion won't be super good, but I can see it being a really good option to read your opponents with and punish them hard. This move has super armor at the start, and the ability to turn around with it and fall through platforms makes this move simply better than anything like a Warlock punch or Falcon punch or even a Hatchet Man. This move though does have a ton of lag and is active on frames 69 to 70 and has a first active frame of 143. And finally we have the neutral B, which is an arrow sorta similar to Link, except it cannot be released early and has to charge halfway before releasing. This will be a decent zoning tool, but not anything spammable in my opinion, but the fully charged arrows seem like something that you won't land that likely with your opponent on stage, and seems like a if you hit it type of thing, and I really think that it's a good ability to be able to cancel the arrow, but you can't really do it while it's being fully charged, and it's really going to be good for faking out your opponent and making them approach and make them make a bad play. The arrow becomes active on frame 45, and you can cancel into shield starting on frame 12, but you can't cancel fully charged. So that's my analysis on Byleth. I don't think Byleth will be really all that broken, but some moves will make this character super good against a ton of characters in the game, and will invalidate characters with bad recovery such as Terry or Wolf with its zoning moves and recovery. So I can't wait to play this character, and I personally got even more hyped making this video, and I hope all of you end up enjoying this character and give Fire Emblem a chance. And make sure to join the Discord and subscribe to the channel to see more like this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.